Hi, welcome to First Connect. This is a webcast of First Baptist Church and your bridge from one Sunday to the next, featuring people and places and happenings and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Featuring people as well.
Yes.
Like, for instance, Lance Brewer's a people.
I am a people.
So what's been going on at the Brewer House, man?
Yeah, so on the home front, over the weekend, it was one of those weekends where we just kind of wanted to put a little pause on everything else. We've had a few busy weekends over the past month, and so we wanted to put a pause, and Missy and I said, let's just kind of escape. And so Saturday morning, we slept in a little bit late, and then we got up, got ourselves ready, went and grabbed some breakfast at a local restaurant, and then we just ran around the Northwest Arkansas area. We hit a couple of shops here and there that we like to stop at and see, and then just meandered around really for about the next 5 or 6 hours, grabbed a little late lunch, early supper, because we did a little lupper, and then we headed back to the house, and we were lazy day.
That's a
good
nice day.
It was a good day.
What is sleeping late to the Brewer parents? Is that the same as sleeping late to the Brewer kids, or?
Well, probably not, because by the time, they actually both had places to be at least by 10 o'clock. So they were up earlier. They were up and going, for sure. And so we were probably the more lazy ones this day. Now we didn't sleep till 10. We were probably about 8:30ish or so. We rolled out, started getting moving, and by 10 we were on the road. Yeah,
that's a pretty good day, man.
It was a really nice day.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah. How about you? Home front for you?
Well, so we talked about this last week. I just said I wasn't going to talk about this last week because I would have been just complaining.
You were a little upset.
I would have been complaining, but I can report back on it this week.
Okay.
Because I've titled it here, this was my glorious week of repairs. I'm just telling you, everything we own was broken.
Okay.
All of our stuff, and not just the stuff at our house. The stuff that I have responsibilities with here at church were broken. So this was having to reinstall the youth room computer in a couple different ways. Yeah. Changing out a hard drive, put some RAM in it. Fixing the sound system in the downstairs venue there in the gym.
Yeah, it's plug and play now.
Plug and play, ready to go. Our van, it's got more issues than just this, but we replaced the mirror on the van, got it a good oil change. It just feels good. It's ready.
Really?
Got it. We got a used riding mower that we drove off my dad's trailer at my house and straight into my fence because all of a sudden it couldn't turn. So we got to replace what's called the drag link that connects your front axle to the steering wheel. Got to replace that.
I've done that before.
And so got to do that. I've been sitting on. I've needed my front right blinker replaced on the Mazda for a while.
Yeah. And
it's been like a 6-week process. Finally got that done this week. Okay. A rodent had gotten up and chewed out the wiring harness to that.
Oh, not a light bulb, because those are hard to replace sometimes. But a rodent.
It was terrible. And then so leading into that, on the way home from church last Sunday, I also hit a curb and exploded a tire, and so I had to replace the tire. The charging port went out on my phone. Got that taken care of this week.
That's a list.
And then my guitar. I've had an issue with my guitar jack, Ernie and I, who will feature later.
Yes.
Got that taken care of. And finally, I contacted the people that do the pickups for my guitar, like where you plug it in.
Okay.
It's never given me the bass sound it's supposed to. I got some word back on try this. I did it.
Yeah.
Glorious week of repairs.
I'm telling you. Yeah. And it wasn't just having other people do it. You were doing a lot of those things.
I actually did some of those things, which is not usually me. I'm not that handy. My dad is. And I got some help from him. But man,
it's in your blood.
It just feels really good to be on the back end of this where my stuff, as of now, basically is intact.
Yeah. Well, so you got a lot done.
Oh, and I've written down here. And as a bonus, I found my watch that I'd been missing for 2 weeks this morning.
Glorious.
Isn't that a great
What'd
week?
you call this?
This is the glorious week of repairs.
Glorious week of repairs and finding.
Absolutely.
That is great. Well, we've got some things today. We're going to kind of the First Baptist Church sample platter.
Oh, the sampler.
The sampler platter.
Nice.
So we're going to kind of hit a lot of different things, kind of quick and hard today. What were some of those things we were looking at?
So we'll get to funny things with Ernie, our self-described handyman on campus here. We'll get to that.
Yes.
But we're going to start out with a segment we've talked about doing for a while. Okay. And we finally got it done today. This is installment number 1 of 1 Minute Stories with Uncle Mike.
Yes. Enjoy.
There's a story I can tell you about when I got a brain concussion. I was riding a bicycle. I can tell you a story about, what else did you say? Riding in an old car? I can tell the story, but when I was probably second grade, I guess, I was 7. my best friend David Allen and I had been playing cars at his house. He loved to play cars. I did too. And but we had taken some of our mother's clothespins and put baseball cards on our bicycles to make them sound like motorcycles. And at that time, my bicycle was little. It was the one I got when I was 5. It was a 20-inch bicycle, which is not the same as today. It is a little bitty bicycle. So in my neighborhood, I lived in the Tower Heights edition of Jacksonville, Texas, which was on a hill. And there was a water tower at the crest of the hill, and it dominated the whole neighborhood. You could see it right out the plate glass window of our house. It was just there. And it was 6-legged, and around the base there were wild grapevines, and then the works that went down underneath the tower were there. So the older boys in the neighborhood would often go up there, and of course everybody's dad smoked, so they would swipe some of their dad's cigarettes.
Riveting! Tune in next time for the second installment of 1 Minute Stories with Uncle Mike. Lance, where did the idea for a story time with Uncle Mike come from?
Well, to know Mike Pasley is to know that he's a storyteller. And a good storyteller. So we've kind of been after him for quite some time to write a book. Mike, you need to write.
Josh has told him that so many times.
Yeah, Josh Mullins like, tell their story and start writing it and capturing it. And so we're going to start capturing some of this stuff, and maybe we write the book, the memoirs of Mike Pasley, for sure. So stay tuned for that next episode where he picks up this story.
Well, Lance, we are 2 weeks now into multi-venue worship up to this point.
Yep.
How are we feeling?
I'm feeling great. We thought we'd give you guys a quick look about what's happening and a little bit more about it. So
join us in the gym for this shot.
Well, Lance, we just finished 2 weeks here in the second space.
Space.
Down here in the Mitchell Hall multi-purpose space that's been used as a fellowship hall. It's been used as a gym. Actually, as I was finishing up college here,
really,
this was the worship space. That's when the renovation started.
This building
upstairs.
existed back then?
I know.
Okay.
And you know who the music minister was here?
Mike
Pasley was a solid decade into his time at First Baptist.
It's hard to think back when he wasn't.
That's exactly right. It's always a safe answer. What have you thought about things here so far?
So this second venue, some I've heard it's called maybe the downtown worship rather than the uptown, the different floor levels here at First Baptist. It's been cozy and good in here. You get to be real close to the action, but not too close.
6 feet.
6 feet at least, for sure. So we're sitting on the stage here, where everything happens live on the stage when it comes to the music, prayer, scripture reading, right? And then when it comes to the preaching time, we throw that up on a screen right up here above us as well. So it's a great room, good room. How many chairs we got set up in here?
Man, we're pushing up toward 100 chairs or so. We can easily get 100 people in here, and I think we got to count somewhere around 65 yesterday in the room.
Yeah. So
there's still a little bit of space in here that more people could come in. This has been excellent. We've had a hand in actually running things down here for the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I was leading worship here, and you were over there by the door.
Punching some computer buttons.
Absolutely. Making sure that the different tech, this is very different tech in this room than in the other one.
Yeah.
But making sure everything is working here. And I've enjoyed our worship time down here together. It's very, very different in that we're doing our best to track with what's going on upstairs. We've actually been running a stream on that. We keep a television in the back of the room.
A monitor back there where we can watch from stage what's happening upstairs.
So let's say I'm up on this little platform leading worship. I know where they are. Yeah. So I'm going to try to end roughly around the time, actually slightly after they end.
That's the plan.
and not in front, which was yesterday. We were just a little bit out in front of them.
But it was really cool. So if you weren't here in the room yesterday, so we finished up just about the time they were getting ready to pray before the pastor preached. And so we're praying here, anticipating them praying there. And so what really happened was we got a prayer in here, and then we went to the service upstairs and watched it on the screen and got a prayer from up there as well. So we were doubly prayed up.
Absolutely.
If you were in this room. But it's really you say it's a little different. You're right about that,
It is.
but it's definitely a worship service, and engaging in
It
and
is.
being pulled into worshiping and honoring God, just as if you were in our sanctuary as well.
Well, and so obviously sometimes we have some responsibilities on exactly what we're going to be doing and where, but I just really enjoyed my time down in the space, so that even if I'm not up here playing a guitar and singing, I think I very well may find myself in here a fair bit.
Yeah.
For us with little kids,
Yeah.
you were joking with me about this earlier, but Erica has found it very freeing with Nathan, who's a kindergartner, new kid in the pew,
Yeah.
who's actually a new kid in the cushy chairs out here. This is just a little bit of a looser environment where Erica just says she feels it a little, maybe a little less pressure as far as keeping kids behave perfectly, because we're in a gymnasium as we're worshiping. It's a little bit different feel than our auditorium upstairs. The worship here is done in a little bit more of a stripped back sense, and that's intentionally so. So there are not as many moving parts, and we're able to kind of track things with what's going on upstairs as well.
Yeah, so you got somebody sitting on this little box back here behind us, the
cajon,
and that gives you the kind of the
light acoustic drum there.
Got you on guitar or somebody on guitar as well,
right.
and then a couple of vocals.
Well, and then we do have a piano that was actually purchased for this room to be able to use here, a digital piano.
Yeah. So at times we'll have some keys going
Exactly.
on down here as well.
So you're going to get a little bit of variety down here.
Yeah. Well, we've got lots of room and space
and
in here to come on down and be a part of this. So if you
Absolutely.
are still checking out and trying to want to make sure we have enough space as we socially distance, that's why we did this. So we can have enough room to get more people into worship.
And now's a really good time to jump in because we've gone through the first 2 weeks where really we're working out some bugs.
Yeah.
Realized we got a bad speaker back here that we're taking care of this week.
Yep.
Sound from week 1 to week 2 is already better. We got the projector screen moved from the side up to the top. We got the projector mounted from the ceiling. So this room really is ready to roll.
Yeah, we just need you to be in the room. Now, it's a good place to be a part of worship. We just want to give you a little feel for what's been happening the past couple of weeks, all right? So join us for worship. All right, there you go. Mitchell Hall, we want to invite you to come worship there with us as well. Hope you can do that sometime here in the near future. So we also had a chance to connect with a couple of our young adults
That's right.
here in our church that are youth leaders, right?
Well, one of whom you know really well.
I do know her really well.
And the other one is your daughter. Just kidding. Hey, so we sat down this week with Kelsey Brewer, Lance's daughter, and with Joe King, who was interning with me this last summer. Yeah. Or actually all through this last year, that he's a buddy of both of ours. We sat down to talk with them a little bit about what it is to be a part of the Wednesday night leadership team for youth. Yeah. A couple of our college and just post-college adults. Yeah. And had a blast. Enjoy this interview. Hey, Lance, we are sitting down here with Kelsey Brewer, your daughter, and Joe King, who was interning for me last year. Yep. Should be a good time, I think. So, Joe, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from.
I am from Charleston, Arkansas. It is about an hour and a half southeast of here. And I grew up there and then went to the U of A Fort Smith for 2 years and then came up to the U of A and finished up my degree there. And now I'm just a working man here. That's about it.
Working man.
Kelsey, same question.
Yeah, so actually from Fayetteville. We've been here for, I think we're going on 8 years now. Grew up going through the Fayetteville Public Schools. Now I'm at the University of Arkansas, where I am majoring in communication, taking up a minor in history. And so that's just where we're at right now.
Well, how would you guys then describe, hearing a little bit about where you're from, but how would you describe maybe your faith journey, or maybe something significant in the past 5 to 7 years that just kind of really was faith development oriented for you? How would you, anything there, Joe?
I grew up homeschooled out in the country. Yeah. Literally our closest neighbor was a mile away, so okay. I was about as good of a kid as you could get, because there was not really anything to get into that could make me not a good kid. So so I was saved at 13 basically because I thought I was being disrespectful to my parents a lot. Turns out they were like, no, you were always a good kid, like you never did anything worse. But there was this 1 year that I thought I did. So that was the Holy Spirit convicting me that I couldn't be good on my own. So we liked that. And then didn't really grow much until I got to college. And then I met Lee Woodmansey
Okay.
And he learned that I did not like to talk to people, which probably is a shock to y'all now. But and he told me, you shouldn't have told me that because now I'm going to make you talk to people. And for the next 2 years at Fort Smith, he pushed me to grow in my faith and pushed me to share my faith. And then when I got up here, then he got me connected with Josh, who did the same along with other people here. So.
Okay, well, that's cool. So you mentioned Lee Woodmansey. So some of the folks in the Life of Our Church know that name. What is he doing now?
He is the BCM director at University of Arkansas, Fort Smith.
Okay, and that's where you connected with him.
Yes.
Was there. Okay. And he used to serve here as a collegiate intern as well.
He's actually one of the main reasons that I'm at this church.
Well, thank you, Lee. That's great. We're glad to hear it. Kelsey, what about you? How would you describe me as some faith development?
Yeah, so I actually accepted Christ when I was about 5 or 6 years old. But there was a stretch from when I was in 6th grade to 8th grade that really kind of pushed me along in my faith, and that was because my 6th grade year, my grandfather had been battling a very long time with the disease ALS, and finally is now with the Lord, and that happened my 6th grade year, on top of finding out that we were moving. And so to me, my life, I thought it was over. It was not. It was really good, and so I really just learned to begin relying on the Lord, because my 8th grade year just got into a stretch of feeling anxious all the time, lonely, and really starting to kind of look at the world for filling me up. And one year, it was 8th grade year, we were doing a Disciple Now, and I remember the Lord just getting a hold of my heart and going, Kelsey, you are drinking from a water that is never going to fulfill you. And I was like, what you talking about, God? Like, we're good. And he was like, no, think about it, Kelsey. Like, you're looking fill yourself up in the things of this world. If you would drink from my water, you would thirst no more. And that completely just changed my life. And I'm not perfect now, but after that, I began to just truly start running after the Lord, and trying to pursue Him and seek what He has for me daily.
Kelsey, what did you do this summer?
This summer was an amazing opportunity. I got to go work with Kanakuk Camps, and I was with their Camp K-Country, which is working with kids from about ages 6 to 12. And I got to be a counselor the entire summer and just hang out with kids and share the Lord's love with them and do Bible studies and devotionals with them, and then also just hang out and have fun with them.
Joe, how about you, man? I know this has been a summer of transition for you. Obviously, we were walking through that together. What's it been like?
So I came into the summer, just finished my bachelor's degree, and I was still interning for you. Yep. I did that until July, which, I mean, as you know, that looked very different due to COVID. We were trying to figure out whatever we were doing. But in June, I started a part-time job along with that, working for a pasture poultry farm, and did that for 3 weeks. And then that is when I started the full-time job that I have now. And that's when I had to quit interning. So yeah, that and a lot of tennis. That was pretty much my summertime.
That's cool. Good. So you guys talked a little bit about your summer and some ministry things that you've been able to be a part of and be involved in, a little bit about your faith development, those things. But what about lately? What's going on with you and God recently? Kelsey, you got something there?
Yeah, so I think coming back from camp, it was a very spiritually growing time for me as well. And a couple things that I took away from that, the biggest one would have to be being comfortable with uncomfortable situations, and just leaning into uncomfortability and leaning into those hard things and just saying, okay, God, what do you have for me here? But two, taking my thoughts captive. I've just really realized lately that I think that is just a battlefield, is me and my own thoughts, and where sometimes Satan can kind of come in and try and really trip me up. And so to sit back and say, okay, is this true? And really working through memorizing Philippians 4:8 and stopping myself with these thoughts and going, is this true? Is this of God? No. Okay, let's move on and run towards the things of the Lord.
What do you think, Joe?
This summer was a hard summer. The transitions were difficult, and I wasn't really around people that were making the same transitions, and so there was a lot of loneliness that was felt this summer. But through that, I think I saw that God was very faithful, because He would always bring someone in right at the time that I was feeling most lonely, or I would get a text from somebody, or it would be a time that I needed to go down and see family anyway. And so there was always something that stepped into that loneliness. And so I really just saw how faithful God was. And then even more recently since then, I've gotten to see, which I mean, I know this, but I've gotten to see how well God answers prayer. When we actually pray, how well God answers prayer in bigger ways than I sometimes remember that he does answer prayer. So that's been really cool to see.
Wow. Well, so you two have found yourselves underneath the student ministry umbrella over these past months anyway. You guys both came and led small groups with us over Disciple Now this last year. You're both in there as Wednesday night small group leaders. An outstanding job so far. And Joe, obviously you were interning with me over the last year. Is that year plus?
Year a little bit over, 3 months over.
Just in short, either one of you want to jump in first? What's the experience been like? Has there been like a signature moment, maybe even like a signature conversation or question or anything that's happened in that time? You want to start? Go.
I think one of my most recent things that just made it, I don't know, really cool to be in youth and be able to work with them is I lead the senior boys small group, and a couple of the guys, 2 or 3 weeks ago, asked. They said, hey, we should take like a Wednesday night a month and like go share the gospel somewhere. And that was totally like their idea. And I know they had talked to you about it a little bit before.
Well, we have those same, conversations with my 7th grade boys. I'm sorry, go.
I mean, that's awesome. Anyway, and so just seeing that like they were the ones that wanted to make that happen. It wasn't someone saying like, you need to go be doing this, like this is your duty as a Christian, which is something we should all be doing, but they had the desire to bring that up and start asking questions about it. And so then I got the opportunity to tell them about what some of the people at the BCM on campus do. And they go out twice a week, and they call it evangelism training. They kind of teach them a method, and then they go out on campus and like go share the gospel with random people. And already a couple of the students went last week. Yep. And so that's just one of the more recent things that it's been really cool to be a part of and get to see them growing in their faith.
Well, and it's one of the cool things about being at this church and about being at a college church, in that Joe had this connection, and really the person you were pointing him to is Cade Pylant. Really spearheads that. Cade is also one of our Wednesday night discussion leaders in there, which is just a pretty cool thing to be able to do.
Yeah.
So, Kelsey, how about you? So you're just getting started with this on Wednesday nights. You've been in and around a little bit before that. What's the experience been like so far?
I think I'm having to learn that God really does, like as cheesy as it sounds, I think you hear, God doesn't call the equipped, he equips the called. And so I'm just having to learn to know that I'm not enough, but he is through me. And it's been really cool to walk into situation with these girls, asking some really tough spiritual questions, and we're keeping each other accountable, and I go, okay, God, I don't know the answer to that, but you do, and you're living inside of me, and you're breathing inside of me, and you're choosing to use me. So just watching him do that, but then also watching him use these girls to really challenge me in my faith, to see where I'm at, and am I filled up, and am I in a place where I can fill them up.
So both of you have been connected with First Baptist Church for a while now. Obviously, Kelsey, you've grown up here. You talk about we've been here almost 8 years now, or working on 8 years. This is your third year connected with this church, but I mean, you were all in. That was kind of cool about Joe. You were here and you were all in, and as if this was your place. So Lee Mans Woodsy, it got you here. But talk to us a little bit about what has First Baptist Church meant to you through your years? What impact, or what does it mean to you? Why First Baptist Church for you?
I mean, I don't know initially. Initially, I tried a couple other churches, and I liked.
How dare you? I'm just kidding.
Well, actually, FBC was my third choice. Okay. Not third choice, but third.
We'll edit this part.
Third church to try. No, anyway,
that's for last, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I tried 2 others before, and then I liked both of them, and so I called Lee, and I was like, I don't really want to try more churches because I'm just gonna have to say no to more churches that I like. And then he convinced me to go ahead and try FBC. So the first thing I did was Meal Trade Monday with the college group. And Josh told me later that the day, whenever I went up and met them then, that he told me, that he thought he's going to end up at our church. He just doesn't know it yet. And so I did several things with FBC throughout the week. And I was like, I love this church. Like, I love the people. I love the connections here. And I was like, but I have to try a Sunday because I want to know all parts of it. Yeah. And as soon as I walked in, and like after that sermon, I knew like this is my church. Like, I love the people. I love the way it was set up, and I knew it was my church. And since then, I've gotten to see like FBC is one of the strongest like family churches that I've been a part of. Like, I mean, I don't have family here, but I have family here. Like, there's so many people in this church that I can consider family, and I know would be there for me in a heartbeat. And so it is a body of believers that is connected, and like they may get busy sometimes, but they're always there.
I mean, how many thousand hugs have not happened at this church because of quarantine? Basically, at this point,
it has killed me. I am a hugger.
Only a third of them involving Joe.
Yeah, for sure. Kelsey, what about you? Other than your dad drug you here and you had to go to this church,
that's right.
Why First Baptist Church for you?
For me, it's because when I'm here, like, I'm just Kelsey. I'm Kelsey, who is a child of God and a sister in Christ. I'm not Lance Brewer's daughter. I'm not sorority girl. I'm not homecoming court. I'm not, senior in high school. Like, I'm just Kelsey. I'm sister in Christ. I'm somebody that they want to love on and they want to pour into. Like, the amount of opportunities I've had to just get to learn from all different stages of life has been incredible, and getting to have relationships with all different stages of life is super sweet. And so that's what it's been for me, is like I get to be a part of this church and I don't have a title, it's just Kelsey here, and it's amazing.
Good stuff. Well, I'm thrilled to have you two as part of our Wednesday night crew. I'm as thrilled with the crew we've got this year as anything that we've had, quite frankly. And whether my students are saying that yet or not, I think they're reflecting it as well. Yeah. So, I mean, I enjoy just getting to sit down and have a quick little chat with you guys. Thanks for sitting down with us. Hey, fun time getting to chat with those two. It's a blast to have them as leaders with us on Wednesday nights. Lance, question for you. I'm just springing this on you now. What is it like to be Kelsey Brewer's dad?
Oh, it is a joy. That really is the first word that comes to mind. Hopefully you kind of got a little piece of that joy just in who she is. But it is a joy. It's fun. But she is a girl, and so it is very dramatic as well.
Now I think you've said it sometimes, like, she very much is her mother. Is that fair to say? She endears all the incredible qualities of her mom, for sure. The spunk, the joy, the life, as well. So yes, she is that. Well, you're trying to get me. No. I was just checking. Hey, so past Friday night, I was coming back from Mazda with just having gotten the wiring harness back.
Getting your car fixed.
I was coming down with some food as well, and meeting my family here for this scavenger hunt that took place on Friday night.
That's right.
The children's ministry was putting together a scavenger hunt. This is the second. We did one like this a couple months ago. Yeah. Just awesome response. So Elise was like, "Yeah, we're going to do this again." We did a scavenger hunt this last Friday night. So we got some pictures, got some videos.
Yeah, it was great. I haven't even had a chance to see those videos yet, but I don't want to miss the next one.
Absolutely.
That's how good it is. So I hope you enjoy.
Check it out.
Get a little montage of this.